When you close your eyes, you think you're safe. But some creatures wait for that moment, not to haunt your body, but your mind. Tonight, we enter the world of beings that feed on dreams. Stay until the end to find out what you should never do to let them feed on your dreams, and let us know in the comments if you already had a strange dream experience. Creatures that eat dreams. The dark beasts of sleep. Sleep is supposed to be peaceful, a place where the mind drifts, where we leave the world behind. But what if the moment you close your eyes, something else wakes up? Throughout history, nearly every culture has spoken of beings that don't hunt flesh, but something far more delicate. They feed on the mind itself, on dreams, on fears, on the quiet space between thoughts. Tonight, we're exploring the entities that feast when the world goes dark, the creatures that eat dreams. The Baku, the dream eater of Japan. In Japan, children once kept a small charm near their pillows, an image of an animal with the trunk of an elephant, the paws of a tiger, and the eyes of an ox. They called it the Baku, the dream eater. When nightmares came, the sleeper could whisper, "Baku, come eat my dream." And the Baku would come, gentle at first, swallowing the bad dream whole. But there was a warning that parents whispered afterward: never call the Baku more than once. Because if it was still hungry, it wouldn't stop with the nightmare. It would eat your good dreams too, your hopes, your wishes, everything that makes you want to wake up in the morning. After that, the world would seem pale, quiet, and empty. Even today, in parts of Japan, people still carve little Baku figures for protection. Not because they believe in monsters, but because sometimes it feels safer to have one on your side. The Mara, the spirit that sits on your chest. In the cold forests of Scandinavia, there are stories of a creature called the Mara, a pale, weightless spirit that visits during sleep. It doesn't speak, it doesn't move loudly. It simply sits upon the sleeper's chest, pressing down, whispering nonsense into their dreams. When the Mara visits, your body won't move. Your mind is awake, but your body won't respond. You try to breathe, but it feels like something is holding you still. Modern science calls this sleep paralysis. But centuries before that term existed, villagers believed it was the Mara, an invisible being feeding on the life of dreams, one breath at a time. When people woke with that heavy, breathless feeling, they would leave herbs by their bed or turn their shoes upside down. Small gestures meant to confuse the spirit and keep it away. Because once the Mara learns your name, it remembers how to find you. The Alp, the nightmare of Germany. The German Alp is a small shadow-like creature that slips through cracks and keyholes when the night is deepest. It perches on the sleeping person's chest and sends them vivid, suffocating dreams. The word nightmare itself is believed to come from this very creature, because nightmare in German is named Albtraum. But unlike the Mara, the Alp was mischievous. It didn't always feed, sometimes it played. It could tangle your hair, whisper through your ear, or hide your breath beneath your pillow. Old texts describe ways to stop it: a broom by the door, a silver button under the pillow, or simply staying awake until dawn. But those who saw it said the Alp looked familiar, like someone you knew, wearing the wrong skin. Because the Alp wasn't always a monster, some believed it was the wandering spirit of a person dreaming themselves, their soul traveling too far and forgetting the way back. The Oni of sleep, the uninvited guests. In ancient Japanese folklore, Oni are usually known as horned giants, but there are quieter kinds too, ones that never touch the living world. They wait in dreams, creating endless corridors, false landscapes, and familiar faces that lead you astray. When you wake, you remember almost nothing, just the feeling of having gone somewhere you shouldn't have. The dream fades, but the fatigue stays. Some monks believed that certain dreams weren't dreams at all. They were invitations, journeys through worlds inhabited by unseen beings who feed on awareness. The more vivid the dream, the more energy they take. That's why deep, dreamless sleep is sometimes the most peaceful kind. The Wendigo's dream. Far to the north, among the Algonquian peoples, there are tales of a creature called the Wendigo, often remembered for its endless hunger, but few know of its quieter story. The one where the Wendigo visits not to consume the body, but to infect the mind. When a person wandered too long in snow and solitude, the the Wendigo came in dreams first, a shadow whispering promises of warmth and power. Each night it returned until the dreamer began to crave the cold itself. The body remained human, but the mind began to change. Their reflection grew unfamiliar. They no longer felt hunger or comfort, only the echo of something vast and ancient watching through their eyes. It wasn't the creature that changed them. It was the dream, the shining ones, the modern beings of sleep. As the world grew brighter, our dreams grew darker. Screens, noise, sleepless cities, all these things blur the line between waking and dreaming. And with that blur, new legends have begun to appear. People speak of tall, featureless figures standing beside their beds, of voices that call their names during sleep, soft but urgent, of dreams that bleed into reality. The same room, the same faces, but something is always just slightly off. Maybe these aren't new creatures at all. Maybe they're the same ones, adapting, ancient entities hiding behind modern fears. Because the more the world forgets them, the deeper they go into our subconscious. The less we believe, the safer they become, and that's how they keep feeding. The common thread. Every culture has its own version of a dream eater. The Baku, the Mara, the Alp, the Wendigo shadow, the modern sleep visitor. Different names, different forms, but always the same hunger. They don't want your body. They don't even want your fear. They want your attention. That sliver of awareness between sleep and waking, when the mind is most fragile and the soul most open. That's why sometimes when you wake from a nightmare, it feels like something is still watching, because it is. The dream might be gone, but the dreamer was seen. If you ever wake up in the middle of the night, unable to move, heart pounding, eyes open but frozen, don't panic, don't scream, don't even look around. Just whisper, "Not tonight," and go back to sleep. Because if the stories are true, the more attention you give them, the closer they get. Dreams are supposed to be safe, but maybe they were never meant to be, because even in your sleep, something might be listening. Subscribe for more creepypastas and eerie tales.